with this, what we've been talking about, and just go with YouTube. Hi YouTube. How's it going?
Oh wait, this is on YouTube?
This is on YouTube now, just because I just started streaming it now.
Let me fix my hair.
There you go. Oh, now I got a message there. It says the API has expired. Well, that explains that.
Well, unexpire that.
Yep,
I was
working
gonna
on
say-
it now.
I was going to say, I'm glad it explains it for you.
It finally
Made
said
no
something
sense to
there.
me.
Now it says it's sending data. And now we're on Twitch. There we go. Now we're everywhere.
Hey.
What it was is Twitch got jealous. It was like, what the crap?
It was like,
They're on
oh,
YouTube.
really? We need to bring it back over here.
Yep.
A Twitch debut.
Oh, now it says the connection expired with Restream. What is going
Well-
on here? I don't understand.
Well, it was great while it lasted.
It was like, I'm gonna make you think it's there. It says we're online right now. I guess I'll take care of that later. So, all right.
You need
No,
a new
that's
IT guy, Tim.
Yeah, I know, right? I need somebody to just handle all this.
Every time I think about streaming some games might be fun, then I hear you guys talk about this crap, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's easier if you just stay with one channel. It's just when you start trying to spread it out everywhere else, and you want to show it everywhere else. That's when it starts getting complicated.
Until Windows decides to do an update and then it doesn't find your
God, I hate
camera.
the updates.
Turn your mic off to a different mic so it doesn't pick up the audio, but you can't change it in Streamlabs on the fly for some reason. It's not letting you for the update, so you have to end your stream in order. Yeah, that's fun.
Good times.
Yeah,
Good
see?
times.
Yeah.
You guys are really selling it.
This is what's keeping me from making a Tetris 99 stream. Well,
Right.
that and of course money to buy all the junk to do the stream.
You don't
Such.
need
You don't need-
a
no,
bunch
yeah,
of money.
you don't-
I have a $30 ring light. This
I
is
got
a
a ring light
$50.
going right here.
There you go.
This is a $50 mic that I got for $25. I have a $12 webcam, a $10 arm.
Everything you got right there, you don't even have to stream if you didn't want to. You could just,
Nope.
if you were able to connect your whatever device you were going to use, if you're streaming from your Switch, as long as you can, capture that with your computer, you can just record. And what I did actually with the Nintendo Dads, in order to start doing my first looks or reviews, I didn't have a capture card. I just used the Switch's 30-second capture, and I captured a crap ton of stuff with that 30
Dude,
seconds.
I
Load up
have a
that memory
capture
card.
card and still use the 30-second review.
Yep,
'cause
yeah,
sometimes
see?
it's just easier.
It is much easier sometimes, just capture that stuff. But I can understand too, if you want to play and just share what you're experiencing at that time too, then if you got a capture card, that helps definitely. But you build up to that,
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be honest. When I started streaming, it was on mixers directly off my Xbox. Hooked the camera up to the
Yeah.
Xbox.
Oh yeah,
my
that's
one
right.
ass-
Yeah.
I had a chair sitting over there. I had a 40-foot HDMI cable to the TV, so I could put my console like on the footstool in front of me and had like a lamp off to my side. That was
Yeah.
it.
That's how Sean does most of his streaming, is straight from the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Use whatever tools you have.
Now that you mention it, I did pick up another camera from Amazon. It was one of those flash sales, and I think I kind of got ripped off. But it might be good enough to just train on the TV, just to get
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the shot, because I got a 50-inch screen.
There,
So-
that you did remind me of something too, because that's what Gaming Dad did. He just used his phone camera to capture what he was playing on his Switch Lite. So I mean, if you could train it on the TV, you got more space there. But he was using his Switch Lite, and he used a tripod for his phone, captured his phone there, and or used the phone to capture it, and then feed it, and then that was what he recorded. Or he feeded it from his phone, because sometimes if your phone is good enough, you can stream from your phone.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, there you go.
that's cool. I'm gonna have to explore those options, because because the two things that I've really been thinking about doing was doing something with streaming Tetris 99 and also starting up a podcast with my wife. It's just
Awesome.
something that we feel like, we'd really like to do.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
because just in short, we're a couple of very interesting personalities. I'm a Capricorn, she's an Aries, goat, ram. No.
There you
You're
go.
still together.
What kind of phone do you have again?
Oh, I've got it. I got it. Just a piece of junk. LG.
Well, is it an Android or?
Nothing fancy. Yeah.
Okay, well, people record podcasts from their phones, and Android has some
Yeah, I was
good
gonna
apps to record your voice and stuff. You could
for sure.
certainly get started
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, if you don't want video, I mean audio.
Mhm.
I do a podcast for work that's just audio, and it's like a breath of fresh air when I have to do that. It takes 5 seconds to edit and 5 seconds to compile compared to when like I do something for Game Pass News and it takes me an hour to compile whatever hour-long thing we're doing.
Right.
It's just audio's so much easier.
Oh,
Yeah,
Matt,
I
by the
know.
way, Sean says hi.
Hi, Sean.
He said he heard Skinny Matt was going to be here, so that's why he's watching.
The man, the myth, the legend, you know?
And PSVG is hanging out too. Good evening, boys. Dropping the host. That's funny. All right, so I'm taking that it might be Donnie. Great. So Sean and Donnie coming to say hi.
You must be having some sweet hangs, huh?
Yeah, I guess what did I do? And Tony Baker's here. What's going on? I mean, all of Twitter's coming on here. And then Friendo. What? Wow. That's just the Twitch side. I didn't even look in the YouTube side. Who knows what's going on there? But with all that going on now, Matt, I know you said you're not into the Animal Crossing thing, right? So did you watch any of it though?
I watched it right before getting ready for this. I totally fell off with this one. I played the crap out of Population Growing back in college, but I never had any handheld consoles. I actually played City Folks with my oldest kid at the time when he was like 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, New Horizons just never grabbed me. I don't know why. But I can sit and play Stardew Valley for hours at a time if I had the free time to do it.
But now you can grow stuff, Matt.
Exactly. Now it is more like Stardew Valley.
But they don't have the mining, you know. I got that geology degree, so.
Yeah, but you and you also can't date Isabel, so just so there's still differences.
Didn't date almost anyone in this. No.
Heck yeah.
So no comments yet from YouTube, but I don't know if it's because I kept starting and stopping over there.
I only saw it. Only showed one person watching, so who knows?
Okay.
And that one person might have been me when I went.
Yeah, that's true. That could be it. All right. Then Friendo says ACNH and Metroid, so that's what they're playing. So, but anyways, that's the point of the main dish today, is that for all of us to come together and talk about not only that, but also some other big things that dropped since the last time we've been here, which is the OLED and Metroid Dread. So any of those things, if you want to talk about them, whether you have one or not, and maybe talk about why you don't have one or why you're waiting. I know, Vin, you talked a little bit about it before I was able to go live, but you're just waiting for the next shoe to drop, essentially, right? You're thinking that
I mean, that's basically it. You know, my Switch is my main OG is still hanging in there. If it ain't broke, don't replace it or whatever. You know, so yeah, I'm good with what I've got now. You know. Knock on wood.
How long have you had yours?
Since spring 2019.
2019,
so
okay.
like 2.5 years.
Okay. That's certainly understandable having it that long. Why you would
Yeah.
want, would wait for the next iteration, whatever that might be.
Mhm.
So, and like I said, for some of us, with like Marty as an example, being day one, and most of us being day one Switch owners, with it ready to blow up at any minute, I can understand why Marty had to kind of get that and try to hold out for that OLED, so which he did.
Mhm.
Jesse,
Yeah.
what was your reasoning for getting an OLED? Oh, you're on mute.
I
Oh, you.
am
Oh,
I
wait. There we go. For a minute, we couldn't hear you.
okay. Yeah, mainly I was also rocking the original model. Yeah, it wasn't my day one because I had to send it in for repair and got a replacement back, but it was still that original model. And while I don't do a lot of handheld anymore, just knowing that the screen upgrade, the battery upgrade, just both of the incremental upgrades together was big enough for me to want to upgrade. Whereas I didn't want to upgrade to the Mark II, and if I had the Mark II, I probably wouldn't have upgraded to this.
Good point. Mike, you're on the road a lot. I'm sure that was being OLED and probably playing handheld most of the time. That was probably a big sell for you. Did you happen to get one?
I did not get
You did not?
one.
Okay.
I still have my Animal Crossing Switch, which is working
Oh,
excellent.
yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah, if you got one of those newer themed ones, I'm sure that would be another reason why you would not want to get an OLED, no matter how tempting it was.
I mean, I do want to get one. It's very tempting. I probably will get one when they come in the stores,
Okay.
hopefully, if that ever happens.
Yeah. That's how I
Um,
am with the PS5
Yeah.
right now. It's like if I
Same.
actually see one of
right.
those in the store, then I'll probably get one.
It'll be sitting right there next to the PS5s and the Series X's. I figured.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2030 probably.
Yeah. When they're already on the next system. Yep. Makes sense. Shannon, how about you?
Yeah, definitely. I picked one up. I had day one Switch, and it. Honestly, there was nothing really all that wrong with it. It seemed like it was starting to put out a bit more heat than it used to. But we had talked about picking up another Switch anyway. Just as the kids are getting older, they're on it all the time playing Minecraft or whatever with their friends, and then my Animal Crossing suddenly clicked with my wife. I mean, I tried to get her to play it for 6, 7 months, and she's like, "eh," and then all of a sudden she did, and it just really clicked, and so she's playing that all the time, and I'm just like, "Huh, we could use another Switch right now because I want to play whatever."
Right.
And so we were talking about picking up another one anyway, and so was able to get a pre-order. And I got to tell you, now that I have the OLED, I kind of only want to play handheld. I don't really
Right.
want to play on the TV as much
Right.
because it really is. I mean, it feels like a different system in my hand. Like I know it's not, but it feels like it. And I don't know. It's hard to explain even unless
I
you hold one and do one. It's just like this. I don't know. It just feels like an upgrade.
I see that because of how I feel the same way as it did when I went from the DS Fat to the DS Lite. They're essentially the same system, but obviously they refined it, made it more efficient and stuff like that. But it was still like like a whole new system, and like a newer version of it. So that's the way I equate it to as well. So at least that for
Yeah.
me. So
Yep. And I mean, I can't get over how some of the games look on it. Um, I mean, I haven't heard as many people talking about it, but I picked up the new Tetris Connect and
right, yeah,
pop in
Want
my
it.
yes,
Want it.
yes, it's beautiful and it's amazing on that screen. In fact, I actually prefer to play it in handheld just because I don't know, like you can get it up closer and pop in some, the AirPods and I'm not getting any latency or anything, and it's just been, I don't know, you can really immerse yourself. It's a great game.
The immersion is
Tetris and
definitely it.
chill.
Yeah. Yes. Tetris and chill. Yeah, the immersion is great because that's
I
what
don't know
I've been
how
doing too.
chilled I am when it starts getting like it'll jump you from like speed 4 or 5, and then all of a sudden you'll be at speed 11, and you're like, whoa, that's a quick jump. But yeah,
I
a lot of
definitely
fun.
agree with
A
the
challenge.
immersion stuff. So especially with the bigger screen and when you're playing it in the dark, especially Dread
Yes,
with some headphones. So
yes.
yeah. Nick, how about you, sir? Did you get one?
I did, and I didn't plan to. I didn't pre-order it. I just kind of was one of those crazy things where my mom actually found a 30% off all your electronics coupon just sitting on like the cash register, or on the register belt. And she was like, "I don't need this. Do you want it?" And it was like 2 days before OLED was supposed to come out, and I was like, and I looked at it, I looked it up and down, and it was like includes all electronics. And I was like, okay. And so I had another 10% off that was like saved from like prescriptions. So I walked in and I bought the OLED for $230.
That's amazing.
So,
That's
and
amazing.
Nice.
the store manager was absolutely pissed. Like, they called her over and she like looked at the coupon. She's like, "This isn't for electronics." And I was like, "But I'm pretty sure it is."
Yeah.
And the cash register lady was like, "It did go through the computer, ma'am." And she was like, this is not how this coupon's supposed to be used." And she was like, "But whatever." And she just walked away. And she was like, and the cash register's like, "Merry Christmas." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." And
Right?
I walked out.
That's hilarious. I love
You
that
gotta
story.
you gotta work that hustle.
That's right.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right. I am so glad I captured that story and what Vince just said. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so now that most of us here have the OLED, and the other news is Metroid Dread, whether you're playing on an OLED or playing on your OG Switch, who here is playing Metroid Dread at all? So that's
I am playing Metroid Dread right now.
okay. That's why his screen is off. He doesn't want to show
That's
up.
right. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
I have Dread.
Okay, cool. Jesse, I know you were playing it. I don't know if you got back to it.
My status is unchanged over last night.
Okay. And Matt, I understood that you said you were not playing it because you hadn't played since Super Metroid and you had no interest in it right now.
That is exactly correct.
Okay, got it. All right. So thoughts? Who wants to go first? No spoilers. Remember, we'll do another dinner table with spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say real quick that I don't have it yet, but knowing my older son, who is just a platforming Metrovania, I mean, he just murders those things. You know, like Metroid, boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Cuphead, boom, boom,
So
boom.
when he
Hollow
does
Knight,
that
boom, boom,
game,
boom.
I want to know his time when he goes through it. You'll have to post that. Let us know.
Mhm.
All right. I mean, if you guys heard yesterday yet from what my experiences, you already heard me. So Nintendo dads, you know, I'm gushing about it. I'm not even finished with it yet. I can't foresee the last maybe couple hours that I have left in it that it would just turn for the worse. You know. So I'm gonna say that's most likely gonna be on my game of the year list, if not the game of the year for me. So anybody else? Who else?
I can go.
Okay.
So I will first off say that I will never be really, really good at these games. Like, I know everybody's going to be posting their stuff, and I'll still be like, all right, I'm on, third boss or whatever. But it takes me a while, and so I do appreciate the fact that, those, it brings you back close to where you died usually. In those big battles, the boss battles, battles against the enemies. Thank goodness, because I'm gonna die. I do die a lot. But I am so impressed with how it moves, how it flows, how Samus.
Yes.
It's like it's probably the best feeling game, certainly in the series, but one of the best ones for any kind of platformy Metrovania that I've ever played. Anyway.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
Do you feel like it's
Yeah.
like it's come together? Like they've learned everything over the years, and it took them 19 years to take everything they've learned and put it together in
Yeah,
Metroid Dread.
I think there's a lot of that. I think I was a latecomer to the Samus Returns remake on 3DS, and I just played that. I can't remember uh, within the last year, and I couldn't believe how well I thought that played. Other than being stuck on a smaller handheld, cramping up my hands after a while,
Right.
but the actual movement felt pretty good. And I think they really built on that to make a really seamless, just fluid game. So that's my stance on it. I'm not extremely far, but I'm having a blast just exploring, trying to shoot every block because otherwise I can't find my way.
I figured I
That's
had to
real
play the
sweet.
music while you were, explaining it. So I don't know if you could hear that.
The music just started after you explained that you were starting the music.
Right. It was starting off slow. I
Yep.
figured I'd start that up while you were talking about that. But yes, yeah, I agree. Nick,
I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I'm kind of there. I'm not super good at it. I
neither
I
am I.
as I said, I always kind of wondered why I didn't play it, like why it didn't click with me as a kid. Now that I'm playing it, I can see why. I would have been way too frustrated to try to get through this. And I'm sure I got stuck and I was like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that explains why Metroid really isn't a franchise that I think of in a nostalgia way. I will also say it occurred to me, you said they kind of got it all right on this time. And it occurred to me as we were talking about this actually with Justin on Game Pass News, because we talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about.
Of course you can. We do too, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder if the reason we haven't seen a Metroid trilogy is, I've played a couple of those, and there is a lot of quality of life issues with those games. So I wonder sometimes if they're thinking they have this huge audience that they can introduce to this new franchise, and if they introduce that trilogy first, and they see those hiccups in quality of life that they can get rid of in Metroid 4, if they're wondering if that may hinder them in a new game. Like just the opposite of a way like somebody like you would think of it, Tim, which is like, give me all those games so I can play through them again before.
Right. Yep.
It
No, I
just
could see
it
that.
was it was something I just something I thought about. Like I wonder if this is why they haven't tried to tackle that. So,
Yep.
but no, when it comes to this one, I'm loving it. It is the first game this year that has made me lose track of time and stay up until like 3 a.m.
I agree. Same here. It's been, or I'll catch myself and be like, oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, let me
Yep,
see how far I can go to the next save point. And the next thing
exactly.
I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So yes, definitely.
Exactly.
One of the comments that was made in the chat was from Ninfrendo, excuse me. He said, "Where does Metroid go from here? Essentially, where does it go now?" He's so he's also towards the end. He doesn't want any spoilers. When we're definitely not in doing spoilers tonight, but he's just wondering where could it go. We do know this end ties up the loose ends from the 2D games, essentially the Metroid, Metroid 2, or Return of Samus, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, and now Metroid Dread. It's supposed to tie up all of those games, and I believe also, I don't think Nintendo necessarily counts it, even though I think they did in the Japanese timeline. Other M is included in there. somewhere in that timeline, but it's those 5 games. This is the 5th game in the series. So other than we know Metroid Prime is coming, Metroid Prime 4, where do they go from here? Is this it for Metroid? Or Metroid Prime is that where they go from here? Or is it just basically, all right, they're done with this story arc and there'll be a new story arc in the next iteration that they do, whenever that may be? Or is it like what you said, Nick, is maybe after they got it right this time around, and they just go back and redo the previous 4 in this engine? Maybe even in Super Metroid. I don't know.
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
go. Okay, I was fine. I was just gonna say real quick. You could give me a game like this every 2-3 years, and as long as you did some different hooks, and kept a decent story going, I'd be pretty golden.
Okay, that's fair.
I was going to say, I hope it sells well enough. The whole piracy issue thing aside, hopefully it sells well enough that they see that 2D games like this can still sell. There's still a market for them. Because personally, I will probably never play through a Metroid Prime game. It's just not a genre that I love. I'll watch other people play it for the lore, for the story, but I'll probably never do that. I just prefer it's just like Zelda. I love the 3D Zeldas, but I'll always have a more love for the 2D ones, the top-down stuff.
Yeah.
And so I want more of this kind of stuff. So I got to think if it sells well, we'll get more. I mean, it's just like anything, right? If it sells well, there's going to be more. You can bet on that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I'm thinking about this game, how it's being timed for not just for the right stage in development, but for relevancy within the greater gaming community. This could really succeed. I mean, this could be the game that that is worth waiting 19 years for. There is one other title that comes up when I think of circumstances like this, and that's Duke Nukem Forever.
Okay.
Duke Nukem 3D, when that was out on PC, it was out in like the heyday of the old PC first-person shooters. You had Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake, all of that, and then they, 3D Realms announced, "Hey, we're working on Duke Nukem 4," and everyone's like, "Cool, when's it coming?" And years went by, years and years and years. And it's like, when's Duke Nukem coming? When it's done, they kept saying. Yeah, soon. And then finally, when it did come out, eventually, no one cared.
Yeah.
Because it was no longer relevant. People had moved on to other things. I can't really recall what they were at the time, but it seems like Nintendo is timing this release. It seems like they have some kind of a calendar in mind for releasing this and having it align potentially with Metroid Prime 4 and so forth. These are just my theories.
Yeah.
On
and something we'll surely talk about, several years down the line, when it's like, oh yeah, I remember when they finally released Dread, and the story behind all that, and once we learn more behind it too and stuff, I'm sure, just like your Duke Nukem,
Yeah.
Being able to look back on that and seeing that. It's an interesting comparison there. I like that. So, what else? Anybody else? What else can we see from Metroid possibly?
Well, is this one of the few Nintendo games? And to be fair, if it does have a coherent story, like I don't entirely know it. Is this one of the few games that still has a coherent story? Like, I mean, we all try to like puzzle together Zelda's story, but
Right.
let's be honest. I mean, it's really hard with all the other.
Oh,
Well,
no,
it is
that's
one
just a
continuous.
cluster.
It is one timeline
It is, yeah.
that all 5 games fit in. And if you want to include the first 3 Prime games, they fit between 1 and 2. So
I mean,
it is one Samus in every game is always the same Samus, as opposed to Link where there's 50,000 Links.
Right. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing for Nintendo to have. I don't think they have many games that fit in that bucket.
Right.
So I mean, I would hope that they don't F up the story. I mean, because if you gave me another story that said, hey, this kind of continues or is like somehow, it continues that story arc in some way. I know they said it's ending this one, but however they do that, it would make me very interested to at least go back and read or watch or see what the full story is.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they don't move away from that, because I think it's cool that they have a game that fits in that kind of like, this has an overarching story that is coherent over all the games.
And Nintendo, as you said, they have that ability to, especially in the Zelda franchise, to bounce around every 1,000 years in, with the Zelda story. Where Metroid, they could still, even though it's not 1,000 years, it's still Samus. They could bounce around. They have room to bounce around, which they did with the Prime series, like Jesse said. That falls in between Metroid 1 and 2. So it's like Metroid 1, and there's Prime 1, 2, and 3. And then there's also the Hunters stuff that happens in there, Metroid Prime Hunters stuff. So they could spin off of that too, because I think there was still like some Hunters stuff going on. If it's been a while, but I think there's some Hunter stuff they could allude to later on at some time. Maybe in Prime 4, maybe might touch on it at all. But yeah, there's still some things that we can learn about Samus as she's a bounty hunter, just like we are learning about Boba Fett, right?
Like, cool, didn't Federation Force even drop some subtle hints?
Yes. So
I don't know what it was. I never played that game, but
yep.
So what you're saying, Nick, is you do not want a Metroid game that takes place if Samus had died in the 3rd game or whatever at the end of Super Metroid. Like,
that's exactly
what happened.
This is what happens if Ridley took over the universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's let Nintendo's storytellers have this one and do some amazing things with it and keep it one coherent story. I just think that's cool.
Yes. Hambone Johnny says Samus happy spaceship designer. That's what he wants to see next.
Is that free or paid DLC?
It's free if you are paying an extra $20 for
20. I got a family plan. It's more than 20.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that'd be an extra $50. So.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring that up, but I'm not happy.
Yeah. Well, that is in the news too. So I mean, we could talk about that.
I'm confused.
Oh, I got a lot to say.
I'm confused by it.
On Discord. Let's have it now.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's have some Discord on Discord.
That's right. I am confused as heck. I'm not trying to bash. But because I mean so my biggest thing with it is that so we have a family plan, so my kids can play Minecraft with their friends and all that. It's just the 4 of us. And now this comes along. We all want the DLC for Animal Crossing because we all play it. But we play it on one copy. And if I'm honest, I'll be the only one who touches the Nintendo 64 and Genesis games.
Okay.
So that's a pretty big jump in cost for that. And it's like,
Yep.
you know, is there an option where I can just buy the DLC and
Yes.
just buy the DLC, and then why can't I just then pay $20, $25 less or whatever to get the games, the expansion? Because as I was saying, at some point the DLC is not going to be a draw anymore. So then what? What do you do then? Because
And
that might be relevant now to those who are still playing Animal Crossing or who are looking to get back in. But people who aren't playing at all, have no interest in playing it, or a year from now, even 6 months from now, we don't know what that's going to be looking like. Is that going to be a draw for people? So it seems a little weird to me. I mean, even for Nintendo, it seems kind of an odd move. I mean, that's my little 2 cents. I'm still trying to ponder and just kind of wrap my mind around the whole thing.
And you bring up, which leads to a question, which I don't think is anyone in the media has asked, or at least has an answer to yet, is if you pay the $25 DLC flat, is that only for your account, or is that for your island and anyone who using it can use it? We don't know that yet. If it's only for you and you got 4 people playing on one island, you still need to buy it 4 times, $100. In that case, you're better off getting it through the expansion pack.
I think it's, and I know, Tim, you thought it was for the game. I think it's for the island. Or, I mean, I think it's not for the game, it's for the account. Otherwise, I'm confused how it's bundled with a single membership and how that works out and why and where that plays into. The other thing I will say, just to hit on the first point, everybody is assuming that Animal Crossing has added cost to the expansion pass. Now, we'll never really know, except if we want to take Nintendo at their face value. They say that it's added at no additional cost. They put that in a tweet. Now, as I told Jesse, we all can all fudge numbers all day long, and maybe they're fudging numbers too, and they are adding cost. But if they're at face value and it added no additional cost, unfortunately, for license fees and everything else to get these games on here, $30 was their mark from the beginning. I don't know if that's true. That's what they said.
Right. We don't know, but the way they pitched it to us is for N dollars more, you'll get these 2 new things. But they didn't tell us what N was
That's
until
true.
today, when, okay, here is what N is, but now it's these 3 things. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't what you sold us last week. I was sold last week. I'm not now.
Right. Maybe that's because when they started to hear people's numbers come out at like $10 or $15, they were like, "Oh shit, we're not anywhere near that number."
So when I said it was based on the game, it is for me, in my view, and unless I'm missing something here, the game is tied to the single person individual. Yes, and so is the Switch. Even though you may have other people on there, they still can access that one island.
But remember, even if you bought the game on your account digitally, but your daughter launched it first, she's the captain, not you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's account based and not.
So
I'm with you, Jesse.
They're the mayor.
Yeah,
They're the
if you
ruler.
saw the thing, all that extra stuff, with the exception of the island, the paid DLC, but a lot of that stuff's for the captain or whatever of the island.
yeah,
So the other people they can't do anything.
that's
Now, the
what I
stuff
was
that
thinking was to the game. It would go to the game for the, I guess, to the captain, I guess, because they're the person
Well,
who owns the game. The owner of the
So
game
you
is what
don't-
I'm saying.
So
But the
you
Happy
don't
Home
think the other
Designer
people
stuff-
you don't think anybody else will be able to access? I'm not even talking about just the free update. You don't think?
No, the
'Cause
free
anybody
update
can
is
visit
going
that
to
other island.
everybody. It's going to everybody
yeah.
who's playing that game.
well,
Yeah,
like the thing,
free-
the thing which I think is part of the free update, where you can say, "All right, I want the villagers to be up later instead of earlier."
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's only-
something that only the captain
The
can
captain,
do.
right? Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yeah, we're talking about well, maybe I'm talking about something different. Well, yes, free update will go to everybody.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to the Happy Home Designer
The
Island,
DLC, the
the
paid
DLC, the paid DLC, I think your account is going to have paid that $25. Just like right now, my daughter, because she's only 4 and she doesn't play enough, and we have a family that does it with us, she can't go and visit people's islands, and people can't go and visit hers because she's not an NSO member.
Let me put it this way then. I think we're all saying the same thing, just using the different terms. It's basically whoever owns the game is who
No.
gets the DLC.
No, we're not. No.
Okay,
it's the
that's what
user
I
being
say it
paid.
is. It's
Yeah, no,
who
and
owns the
I'm
game, because you
saying
can't
me
think
and
about
Jesse
the
are
other
saying it's gonna be
DLC.
per account.
Think about the other DLC. You can't go buy DLC for a game your account doesn't show you own. So unless you own that game, you can't buy the DLC for it.
This is a different beast.
Yeah, it is. Tim, this is going to be logged in. This is going to be exactly like your NSO is, where like I'm saying, my daughter can't go visit somebody else's island because she's not an NSO member. She's not going to be able to go visit the Happy Home Designer Island because she does not an NSO member and hasn't paid this amount. I guarantee you, everybody who wants to visit that island is going to have to pony up that $25 or be part of the family plan thing.
So
Can I tell you? You know what the big problem is right now? Is we have to have a discussion to figure out what they're doing with this.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
That's true.
That is
That's
the
so
problem
true.
right there.
I have
Maybe
a
that's why
question.
I've only played my Switch for an hour in the last 30 days. I don't know.
And the bigger problem is none of us is the decision maker. We're just contemplating.
We're just trying to figure it out, and that's where I'm at, because I got to tell you,
why do we have to figure it out? I'm sorry, but
Well, that's just
what
it.
it's frustrating anymore.
It is
I
frustrating.
used to be a big Nintendo fan. I'm old school fan, but like I said, I have touched my Switch less and less over the last 6 months. And I'm not like, oh, it's got graphics. It's just, let's be fair, timing. But
you're right, Matt. I mean, just think about it. We're guys that sat here and watched this 20-minute direct. Can you imagine if you're a mom who just wants her kid to be able to play whatever she wants to be able to play, or dad or whoever, and and doesn't want to sit there and watch a direct? We still don't even know what the hell's going on, and we're supposed to be like in it.
I have family friends. They come to me and it's like, oh, what do I have to do with this? What's this Nintendo Switch Online? I already got people messaging me about this because their kids play Animal Crossing. I have to tell them I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Yeah, it does say Nintendo Switch Online membership and Nintendo account required for online features. And
I guarantee you, man.
I have a question.
So if you, oh, I'm sorry. Just a second. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if I were to, I guess I've never really thought about this, but like, if I have the, let's just say the Breath of the Wild DLC, and I buy that with my account, if my kid does not have a Nintendo Online account, are they able to access that? I've never tried it. I have it. I guess I've never thought about it.
In your case, it would work because it's adding content to your local game. You're not going online. But if you are playing Mario Party online with someone with your account, your daughter could not.
Right. But so you're thinking that this Happy Home Designer area is going to be online?
It says online is required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there it is. And I mean, so in that case, all of a sudden now the
all of
family's
the
saying
airplane features requires online stuff.
Because there's no way in heck my daughter's not going to be doing this Happy Home Designer. She was like, this on the way home from school today, we were talking about, the direct was this morning. She's been looking forward to it. We've been looking forward to it. I made sure not to spoil myself. I didn't go on at all. We got home, we watched it, but on the way home, she said, I wish maybe they'll add something so that I can decorate the villagers' homes. She has Happy Home Designer on her 2DS. She absolutely loves it. This is what she's really been wanting. There's no way she's not getting it. And so there you go. They got me then. And I'm going to have to pay extra for because it's only going to make sense to do it through the
family plan.
Family plan then.
See, that's where it makes sense for me, because I'm not sharing an island with my family. We all, after 2 weeks getting into the pandemic, I was like, screw it, everybody's getting their own Animal Crossing island.
Amen.
And they got the games because I knew we were gonna be in the house. At least we thought for at least 30 to 60 days. It ended up being a lot longer than that, obviously. But so it ended up being a good choice. Everybody got their own islands because we were blessed enough to have our own Switches and be able to play. So for my family, it makes sense to get the family plan because the DLC comes with it. Because I don't have to buy $125 worth of DLC. I just pay $80 for 1 year, and I'm set. Everybody's got the DLC because they're part of the family.
Or you buy it for $25 and it goes to the account, and anybody with an account can access it.
Nobody
Just
has
like
my account.
No, I know, but if they all have their own account,
yeah, they would each
and
have to
just
buy
like we use
$25
theirs
each.
to go, even though we have one copy of the game and they can access, as long as they have their own account, which they do, right? They can access the online features. This is the part we still don't know, isn't it?
No, I'm already doing the family plan for being online anyways.
Right, as am I. But they can. But we don't all have our own islands. We have one copy in the game, one physical copy.
That's for you.
Game.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me.
She can go visit friends. She can go do all that. But suddenly this could be a paywall, basically.
Yes.
Saying that, okay, well, you could do all the online features except the DLC unless each individual account buys that DLC.
Well, even you kind of need both. You either if you don't, you need the expansion pack to get access to the DLC and the online features.
Yeah, because you got to have online.
Or you buy the $25 standalone DLC,
but
you still need the base NSO to do the online features.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about getting rid of the base online. That makes sense. But if I just choose to buy the 25 myself, will they still be able to access it?
No,
as long as they have their own account.
No,
my guess is no.
But you're right.
So
we don't really know.
A paywall.
Because that DLC belongs to you. That's what my point was. It belongs to you.
Yeah.
But other DLC in other games doesn't, and that's what I mean. It does, but
it does
they can access it
still. Because they can access their own game. Animal Crossing, they can't access your island. Because Animal Crossing, like everybody was saying, is a different beast. They can't access the game like you can access other games and create their own account and create their own save files. Animal Crossing is your island, so only you get the DLC, and then anybody else who plays it is coming in as a guest.
Okay.
It's not their island.
I guess, yeah, because so we would all basically, as opposed to sharing, like we share a regular island, instead of sharing this Happy Home Island,
which they could still do.
We all have our own version.
They could still be a share feature. They just didn't talk about it, so we don't know that share feature. This is
nuts. This is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, you drop an entire direct and don't explain, like even they're still missing pieces.
Yep. Well, we got
like watching X-Files.
A couple weeks ago.
Every time you get one question answered, 3 more come up.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to completely overtake that, but I've just been contemplating this.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm like, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's like a 2-level paywall, to be honest, or maybe it's like it's almost like an Animal Crossing, choose your cable channel plan. Like, do you want your kids to be able to? Do you want your kids to be able to to hang out with other islands? Sure, then you can do the base NSO. Oh, do you want them to also do the Happy Home Designer? Well, that's another $25 also. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot there, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but I really think it's going to be per account.
I also hope it doesn't take 5 minutes to fly to the island either.
Oh, it'll take 5 minutes to fly to the island.
Gotta load, yeah.
Chris H. Elsa said something interesting. He bought of course, okay, he says he bought the Breath of the Wild DLC on Noah's account, on his kid's account. So his account that cannot access it. He can only access the DLC with Noah's account. Now, my question is, Noah's not a primary on that system, I bet. Maybe. So that's
See, this is why it just throws me for a loop. I don't understand. It's
If you buy this with the DLC as opposed to buying it separately online, or if you buy it with the online expansion pack, if you choose not to renew, do you lose the DLC?
Yes.
that's what it sounded like. Right?
This was actually answered. You will lose access to the remote island. Yes. But anything you've unlocked in that remote island that you're able to take back to your home island, like the ability to build sub walls and columns and polish shit, you keep that.
And polish shit. That's my favorite thing.
that was. I think that's my favorite thing that's been said tonight.
You're welcome.
I got back just in time to hear that.
Congratulations.
So you're
That
not
was
able to
an
go
odd
back and
moment.
learn. So you're not able to go back to learn more skills, but any skills you've learned, you keep. And then if you resub, you have access to it again.
I was wondering what the point of are we suddenly going to have dust in our homes? That went through me for a little loop there too. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, I don't think so, but it just adds a shiny gleam.
Yeah.
It does. Like it added butterflies to the vase in the one. I will say it feels a little mobile-y to me. Feels a little like pocket campy to me. I'll say that much for that.
There was a little bit of that. I did feel like, yes.
Oh, it's a Switch version of Happy Home Designer, just island version.
You're right.
Yep.
Can we please though? I'm really hoping, and maybe I just kind of missed this, but that when they start talking about the stuff you could then bring back to your island and do, was one of those things the ability to get like a bird's eye view where you're putting the like the paths and stuff from that different view from like up above?
That's a good question.
That is 100% will be absolutely game changing, wonderful.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
As opposed
They did
to trying
not
to see
say
around
that.
the trees and stuff like that. But when they showed that, I was like, that is what I want to do. I want like an overhead view of the island where I could just put the paths. I don't want to be like trying to maneuver the camera around trees and build it. Like, just let me do that.
I have to tell you what Chris just said in the chat. He said, if you polish your things too much, you go blind. You could go blind.
Friendo says, did you say polish it or polish shirt? And I'm going to say, I said, I just put that in the chat.
Yes. Oh,
They
that's
say
hilarious.
you can't polish a shirt.
Yep. Nope.
But you can make your shirt look like your wallpaper.
No, this definitely there's things that need to be figured out that hopefully there'll be an FAQ they add to the page, because I'm looking all over it as you guys are talking. I'm trying to look at things, even some of the other websites, but there right now it says coming soon, so I'm sure there'll be more information there at the website as they hopefully are watching the internet and especially Twitter and even things like ours, because Doug watches us, by the way, just to let you know.
If I came up with the question, I hope Game Explain and IGN and all the other journalists actually come up with the same question and actually has the ability to ask them, unlike me, because they don't know who I am.
Right. No, but it does say the website for Happy Home Paradise does say coming soon, so hopefully there'll be like an FAQ there or some information or even an interview, like Jesse said, from one of the journalists out there to ask some of these questions.
I also have to say it'll be very nice not to have to wait 5 stinking weeks for Red to show up on my island and have nothing new. Not a single new thing.
I agree.
Now you can check daily to have nothing new.
Right.
That was one of the things
I speed it up at least a little bit. Now, if I can find someplace to buy the stupid 4 bugs I couldn't get to spawn this summer.
Unfortunately,
that'd be
there's no
great.
buying bugs. I don't think, unless
You're
you
gonna have
never
to find
know.
someone on the other. You have to find a friend in the other hemisphere and visit during our
True.
winter.
Yeah, maybe that's where what's his name?
Maybe you
We'll
could
take
do
you
that
to
with
that in the
the
boat.
cabin.
Yeah,
That's true. I wonder if that means you'd have access to. You said different seasons, so
yes,
I wonder if that would mean you would have access to those bugs.
yeah. Because that's what one of my questions was when I posted that was like, I'm excited about that visiting the different islands with the different seasons and times of day. Does that also affect what bugs and fish you get on those islands at that time?
So that's
Especially since you're
interesting.
able to set them.
Mhm.
Like I
That's
said, the home designer
interesting to
part.
me because
Go ahead.
they called that out in the very beginning. If you go back to the OG AC Direct, they said that's what was going to happen with Nook Mile tour islands. When you go to different islands, they were like, it might be a different time of day. It might be this. It might be a different time of season. But that's never been the case
But
when you
it's
go
not
to a
now.
different island. It's always the same season. So I wonder if that was something they were thinking they were going to do on the Nook Mile tours and then realized that didn't really work out, and so
Maybe
it got moved to this.
maybe it sped things up too fast
Yeah.
for collecting or whatever.
I'm excited to have something to spend my 400,000 miles I have booked
Seriously.
or ranked up. It's like it'd be nice to have different things to buy.
Nick, do you
Again.
have any miles left with all the trading for the arts that you had to do?
Oh heavens, I've got it all back.
Okay,
Because
all
I
right.
went on a big spree of trying. My last thing I was going to do was to achieve all the Nook Mile achievements. So I spent probably 4 months trying to do that until I finally gave up and got sick and tired of it. That was like the
Right.
last thing I could do in that game.
Esco Richard in the chat has a question, and I have an answer. Why is there another currency? Why can't we just use bells on the new island?
Oh yes, the other
So
currency.
I'll let other people answer before I give my answer.
Money.
A new system. It's just a new
Otherwise,
system.
you could just go over there. You wouldn't. I mean, they want you to do the work, right? Do the work on the island to earn the new currency to buy the hard to get items. Otherwise, those of us who have 14 million bells in the bank,
yeah,
just go over there.
It's a reset.
Just buy everything out.
Ultimately, it drills down
for
to
us people who have been playing for 2 years.
Yeah,
it drills down to DLC specific items. If you don't have the DLC, you can't get these items. Flat. That's it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's also true. But I think also even if they wouldn't have used bells, because even if you pay the $25, they don't want you to go over there with like your 500,000 Nook Mile tickets or your 50 million bells and just buy it all up. They wanna reset the scale and kind of extend the game. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is by making you reset and restart with a new currency. Why Pokey currency? I have no earthly freaking idea.
I was gonna say, is that a callback to anything? Because this is my first Animal Crossing game, so I didn't know if that was a callback to anything.
Not that I am aware of. I was completely like,
that's new stuff. Yeah.
Currency.
Unless, no, I don't know.
I couldn't say either. The 3DS version was my first one, so I don't have a lot of history with this franchise.
My memory's bad with that kind of stuff. Once I get through the game, I don't remember anything about it. So what was the thing that stood out to you on the good side about this? Like, what are you looking more forward to the most out of the DLC, the paid DLC stuff?
Captain's serenading us. The captain is back.
That's on the free side, so that's cool. You get the captain back on the free side. What about on the DLC
Captain was,
side?
I think, Captain was one of my favorite things with the 3DS game.
Yes.
I think the half walls, the all that stuff, it really going to change how you can organize and do the house.
Yes.
I think that and some of that building stuff, if we can take back the ability to get that overhead view, that would be a huge thing. And being able to even help the villagers in our own village maybe redo their house a little bit. That would be kind of cool.
It sounds like that was in the works.
Mm-hmm.
So like you learn the new skills on the new island. You can bring it home, do your own stuff, and then the villagers will want over time. The villagers will want you to do that to their houses too.
Yeah,
That was my take from it.
Yeah, it said if you decorate enough houses, the maybe your villagers will ask for you to decorate.
It was
their
when
house
you gave them an item from there. If you gave them one of those items, they'll are curious about where you got it from and ask you, and then they'll want to go to that island and have you build them something from that island.
Right, but I thought there was a way that they would want you to redo their actual homes on your island, though.
It had you talking to Nook, and it said something like, and hey, once you do enough decorating of enough, your villagers will ask for you to help them out too.
Yeah.
Okay. I must have missed that. I thought it was they asked you to help them out to make their vacation homes. That's what I thought it was.
Both.
Okay.
I think both.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. See.
I think you could do both. Yeah, because I know my daughter has been dying to redo the house, Hans's house on our island, because it's a giant bonfire in the middle of his house when you go in there, and that's really upsetting to her.
I'm glad she should.
I see nothing wrong with
career
this.
with OSHA. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's right.
That is funny. Now we have several comments too in the chat that I'm seeing. Sean is in, by the way. Nick, I don't know if he's going to join us at all, but he popped in to say hi because he's at work. So
yeah, poor
guy. He's excited about. He's excited for all the paid stuff to be able to get the extra bits in my house. So he's excited about that. Chris is not too happy about anything of the paid side, he said. Nothing really stands out to him, he said, on the paid stuff. Chris HL.
So I'm not.
Unless they put NHL 94 in it, I think that's when he would pay.
What if they made NHL 94 Rewind one of the consoles when you used to be able to find the consoles in the original Animal Crossing and Population Growing?
There you go. Then he would be all over that.
He has to to get the game. He has to design all of the characters' homes. Chris would do it. He would do it
in a hockey format.
In a hockey format.
It's a hidden feature.
And Friendo says he thinks he saw a stripper pole in the corner of the roost and singles being thrown at Isabel.
Wow.
I think I need to rewatch the direct.
I had to approve that comment, by the way, too, before it could be posted.
Wow, we're doing this?
I didn't know we went Dads After Dark.
Wow.
So, yep. Sorry, I have to explain that one to the kids. Mom, what's a stripper pole? Send your email to Justin at nintendodads.org.
Does he even check that email? I don't even know.
That's HR. He'll come let me know if I'm in trouble. So
I should create HR at.
So
I can do that. I have access to the email accounts.
Yes.
One of the best parts we haven't mentioned about the update is possibly a new episode of Dad Crossing.
Yes, that is very true. I heard Nick say that.
Baby. We're back.
They have something to talk about now. So.
Heck yeah. Sean and I haven't figured out when, but we're back probably for a while, I would imagine. I mean, we'll do at least a few episodes until stuff calms down. So yeah, we're back.
Well, after your Friday at Extra Life, when you're playing it all, 12 hours of when you're on.
How uncanny is that? That was just crazy. It blew my mind when I realized, holy crap, that's the Friday we've already agreed to play for 12 hours.
Right. Hopefully it's up by that time. Maybe it'll come up midway through, because
that's actually, Tim, you just gave me something to fret about. Thanks a lot. I totally didn't think about that. You're
it may be
right.
there at 6 a.m. Or maybe at noon. Could be noon.
Could be.
Yeah, those things don't normally drop first thing in the morning.
Yeah, not that one. Well,
You're
no,
killing my
if it
dream.
is Friday, isn't it midnight? Wouldn't that be midnight?
Well, game launches, yeah, but DLC launches are a little more wishy-washy.
Sorry,
What
Nick,
about
I tried.
NSO launches? Those are different beasts, right?
That comes out on the 25th of October, if I remember correctly. The NSO
That's
stuff.
what I, yeah. So yeah, NSO will already be live by then.
I think it's only
Honestly,
behind NSO.
I have to ask though, I mean, it sounds like you're the same way there, Jesse, but I like in terms of the extra stuff they added with like I said, I've said it before. I have no interest in the N64 games because I think Sean Capri put a thing on Twitter. It's like I just have no interest in this whole expansion pass. Or, I'm sorry, expansion pack. Like I said, I don't have the nostalgia for the N64 games, and I personally feel I'm gonna get skewered for this one. I think the N64 is one of the most overrated systems ever, outside of Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. A lot of the really good a lot of the good games are licensed, and they're just not that
Exactly.
great. And it's not that I'm saying, oh, they aged poorly. They just really weren't that great at games. I mean, yeah, there's some good ones, but I remember in college I
Yeah.
didn't have an N64, but the games we always played were GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Mario Kart, and Mario Party.
Yeah, and the
We
games I
didn't play
remember
anything else.
playing,
down there.
like, yeah, I had a Nintendo 64, and the games I remember playing, none of them really hold up.
I mean,
Every one of them has something better, either within its own franchise or another franchise just did it better. That is, I have very little reason to want to go back.
I don't
The only
think we're
game I
the
really
audience
want
for
to
that.
play.
I
What's that?
understand that.
I don't think we're the audience for that.
That's
No.
fine. But then you had the Sega Genesis stuff, and it's like the Genesis games I want to play. I bought the Genesis collection when it was on sale for $15 to get the both Shining Force games. I gotta remember what's all on it. It's just loaded. It's got a couple of the Fantasy Star games and stuff like that. It's got Rise Star on it. Actually, half the games, I think, if not most of the games on that they're putting on there are on the Genesis collection, which is like I said, it's on sale on everything regularly for $15-20.
The only game that they announced that I really have been interested in playing was Paper Mario, and I have other ways to play it if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This would have been a nice convenience, but it's not $45 a year worth convenience as someone who doesn't play Animal Crossing anymore.
I think this is more leveraging the kids who grew up with the Nintendo 64 and they're now in their 20s, like my oldest, maybe even Link, Jesse.
That's fine.
Your
But
son.
does any
So
yeah, actually, he's interested in Mario 64, but he had the caveat, as long as it's not the same version that was released with Mario All Stars, which is the bug fix version that was only released in Japan, because he likes to do the backwards long jump
right.
to break the game and beat it in 5 minutes or something like that.
There you go.
But also,
But
like, I don't know. But the thing is, I honestly don't have faith in them actually, despite what they've already announced. I mean, look at how they've updated the SNES and NES online. It's been few and far between, and I'm not even going to get into the quality of the games that have come on there. Yes, but I don't. They haven't set a track record to make it worth to pay a premium.
It's
For
not
these
virtual
extra
console
games.
level, essentially, that we.
I'm not looking for virtual console, but look, I'm not like I
Well, it
said.
kind of
Just look at
sounds
the amount
like
of
you
time.
are. To be
No.
honest, that's what you're looking for.
What did I say? I said, look how often in the time of the games that they put on the NSO, for the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo online, they didn't put a whole lot of games there. I mean, there's like months gaps at times.
No, you're correct. And the Virtual Console also relied on other companies allowing their product to come to the Virtual Console, where this is just straight up Nintendo games. And apparently there's
But
not as many as we thought there were, or at least they're not releasing them.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the quote newer games they've added aren't even Nintendo games on the NES Online. You got to come to the formerly Koei Tecmo, or whatever, and it's.
But that
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
There's
Would
a
they
track
would
record.
they
I mean-
re-release that though as a as its own sellable game?
To be fair, though, are there a lot of first party that aren't on there. You know, I mean, most of the rest of the games that we
Well, Earthbound.
really want on there are not going to be on there because they're licensed, or their companies, their third parties are like, hey, we can release our own
They can do their own
Right.
collections. Yeah.
collection.
I
And so
get that.
they're kind of in a bad place for that. And I feel like they get a little too much slack for not putting out the best games on there. But it's like, but what else is there that they're holding back? Because it's I don't think they're going, all right, now we don't want to put, you know, our very best out there. Because there's not a whole lot of first party left. I mean, you could say like Earthbound, okay? Earthbound is not on there. That is a pretty big you know, hole. And I think that there's got to be a reason for that we're just not aware of yet. But other than that, is there a lot of first party on Nintendo or Super Nintendo that they're holding back that they didn't put on?
This may be why we're getting this tier level thing with N64, and then you see Genesis, because it's going to cost more for licensing. So that, okay, here's the Genesis. Now eventually they start working with the other companies to say, hey, let's create your bundle of games for NSO. And you know, that part, when I was talking about it before, when they came up with it, I'm like, that's great. Let me pay for what I want, though. Let me do a la carte. Let me say, here's an extra $20 for Genesis. Here's an extra $20 for N64, you know, or however, or 15, you know, whatever that magic number is. Or here's, you know, Turbo Graphics or Game Boy Systems.
I mean,
series,
I was actually,
you know,
if I'm honest, I would have rather had Game Boy and Game Boy Advance than N64.
But that's because that's for our generation.
That's exactly it. I agree.
We have that nostalgia for it.
But I mean, go ahead, Jeff.
If we go to the logical conclusion of where Tim's going with this, we have Virtual Console. $5 keep the game. I would be okay with that.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I wanted from the start.
Kind of like Arcade Archives, you know, where you can pay for the Arcade Archives and keep it.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of us would be. We complain about it. Oh, here I got to pay for it again on this new system. You know, I've already paid for it each system since the Wii.
But now, if you give them time, and this actually opens up their library more, because maybe, hey, SNK, why don't you throw the original Baseball Stars, which is probably the best baseball game on the NES, on the NES Online or something, then
yeah,
I'd be a little more open to it. But
it's what I saw with the Sega Genesis, was that possibly maybe brands will have their own library of NSO games. Possibly. Right. But you got to pay more for it. Nick, what were you going to ask? You were disagreeing with something I was saying?
Well, no. I guess is anybody thinking that maybe we'll see some licensed games, since, you know, I think that's kind of why they hinted at Banjo, not hinted, but they showed Banjo and Kazooie at the end there. So is anybody, does it lift anybody's spirits that possibly they're trying to say, hey, we're not just going to give you the bland N64 games. We know the licensed games you want, and we've gone after them.
Hopefully.
It does give me a little bit of hope, now that you mentioned Banjo-Kazooie, because Rare has been working more with Nintendo since, you know, Banjo-Kazooie got into Smash, and now we have their game in this, and, you know, I'm hoping against hope that GoldenEye will one day make it in NSO, but, you know, I mean, I seriously doubt it, but I mean, the possibilities are there. I mean, it all comes down to whatever licensing deals that the powers that be have.
Yeah, when you mentioned that scroll of games in Banjo-Kazooie is at the end for half a second, that wasn't in every region. In other regions, I think Europe and maybe, I don't know what Japan was, but I think Europe, Banjo-Kazooie was up front and was shown for well more than a second. It wasn't the last game shown. So it's weird why they picked that order for our region versus other regions.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
But we do know why all those Xbox executives had a Switch on in their background a few months ago.
Just for the Banjo Kazooie to
Just
show
for
up
the banjo.
on. I mean, the only issue, or not really issue, but caution that I feel when you talk about the more licensed games you have on a service like this, the more licensing deals get complicated, and the more likely something is to disappear. You know, I mean, to
That's
start
true.
disappearing off here. You know, like all of a sudden, okay, we have GoldenEye. That's the one everybody wants, right? GoldenEye, and guess what though? It's only going to be here for 5 months or 6 months, and then it's going to be gone. You
That's
know, I
where
mean, it's just,
that's where I would
That's gonna
hope
be
if they do something like that, then I hope they at least do like what they did with what was it, Mario 35 or whatever that was. The Tetris 99 type, the Mario game, the Mario version.
right.
That they do a GoldenEye that's temporary, that they say, hey, we got GoldenEye that's NSO where you can play multiplayer online. We've updated it, but it's only available for, this amount of time. I could see that happening if that was the case, but I would hate to see it as part of that window, though. Or in that the app part of N64, how you got the SNES app and the NES app. I wouldn't want it in the N64 app. I would want it to be like the Tetris 99 app, its own app that's only available
Right.
for X amount of time.
The other thing is, everyone keeps talking about GoldenEye. I just let you know that is a nightmare for licensing because you have to deal with not only
Oh yeah, we know.
Rare.
We know.
Okay, I just know a lot of people don't realize that. I keep hearing that, and it's like that is in licensing hell because of the whole situation with MGM and the soundtrack and the whole Ian Fleming's estate. There's a whole lot of hands that have to go through that, and a lot
Yeah.
of attorneys.
Yep.
I got to tell you, I have a copy of it for my 64 still, and it's I think a lot of people remember it fondly. Probably haven't played it in a long time either. I'm not saying it's horrible, but it's
Well,
There's a
I
taste.
will say
it's
this
not.
though.
It doesn't age as well as people think. I think.
When they brought out, if they do the same thing like they did with Quake, I don't know if anybody of you played the new Quake that you've been able to download. 'Cause I downloaded it and Sammy downloaded it, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to play this because of how it looked, or I was perceiving it would look like the old school Quake or Doom or whatever, but playing it, it was like actually I didn't care. I was having so much fun because of how fast it was. They improved the speed. You were playing with people online, like crazy speed, going all over the place, killing each other or doing co-op during the game, and it was a lot of fun. Even though it
I
looked
think they'd
like
have
the
to do
old,
something like that.
yeah, it would have to do the same with that. It would just, maybe nobody would care about the polygonal look, but as long as they improved on the speed of it and other things about it to make it fun, then I don't think people would care. Possibly.
Listen,
There was
I
a
don't
there
care
was a
about
lot
the
of
look,
people in there.
but ooh, like
And-
I played and beat Super Mario 64, and I couldn't go back to it.
Yeah.
I said I won't go back to it unless they do something with the camera and make it a little bit more. And I understand it was meant for the C buttons. You don't have to explain it for me. But here now, I played it back in the day. I loved it. It was mind blowing. I can't do it again. Like I just can't.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So a few minutes ago, Nintendo Life put out a tweet with an article they wrote this afternoon with some poll questions, and so they have like one question has almost 9,000 votes, one has over 7,000 votes, so fairly large sample size. So, what do you think of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack pricing? Options are: it's a bargain, reasonable, not sure yet, a little too high in my opinion, or an absolute ripoff. Which one do you think has the most votes?
Well, it's Twitter, of course. It's absolute ripoff. You could give it for free, and they'd still probably choose
Right.
that one.
So, well, this is actually a poll on their website, so it isn't
Oh,
strictly a
okay.
Twitter poll.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
yeah, 43%
It's still
absolute
the
ripoff.
internet, though.
It is still the internet.
Yeah.
37% a little
people
too
want
high.
something for nothing.
2% says it's a bargain. Probably those are people that have 6 family members all playing Animal Crossing.
That's
So
right.
the other one is, are you planning to subscribe to expansion pack? The options are, I already have NSO and will upgrade. I'm signing up for Switch Online and expansion pack as a new customer. I'm not sure yet. I won't be, but may change my mind depending on future updates. That's the one I did vote for. And the last one is, nope, not a chance, not in a million years. Which one do you think has the most votes there?
Nope, not a chance.
No.
Now, that's actually third place.
I was
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I bet you people are going to get it. They have it. They have the NSO and they're going to upgrade.
Whichever one
Yeah.
is the on the fence one is, I think, the highest.
Tim is right there. Yeah, I won't be, but may change my mind in the future, 39%. Next is, I have NSO and will upgrade, 26%. So in other words, people are complaining about the price, but still buying it anyway.
That's exactly what I figured.
Or waiting to
Nintendo,
learn
yeah.
more.
That's the life of a Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
That's literally
Yeah.
that's what you
Yeah,
do.
and normally I'm in the same boat. I'm part of the problem, but this is one that I'm not buying this one day one. I'm holding off.
Mike, you were saying something. I didn't quite hear what you said there. Sorry.
Day 2.
Oh, I just said welcome to Nintendo, like
yeah.
Tim said. Or
Like Nick said, yeah.
Nick said, sorry.
That's okay. Yep. See, Esco Richard says, if Nintendo gives us a roadmap, I think people would be more inclined to come around.
Yeah,
But
that would.
But
probably
they
be
also don't want to put
helpful
themselves on a schedule.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Chris HL says Ocarina of Time was better on the 3DS remastered.
And I agree with that
True.
too.
100%. Majora's
Agreed.
Mask too.
Esco
Yeah.
Richard says, I would like to see Wave Racer.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Until I play it. It's probably no different than Super Mario 64. I was super excited to play that game. I popped it in and I was super frustrated like 15 minutes in. So I'm like, oh yeah, Wave Racer. That sounds great until I start to play it.
Right.
Like,
I tried playing Majora's Mask on N64 like 4 or 5 times and never could get past the first dungeon. And it wasn't until it came out in the 3DS with its QOL improvements that I could even play it. And I did eventually 100% that game.
See, Jerry
Didn't they say
Rufus
they were gonna make-
says,
It was like 50 hours.
let's see, too much blowback if they did. That's a lot of NSO cancellations. So I must admit something. I played a lot of Winback back in the day. There's a lot of conversation going on here in the chat. Rare's GoldenEye would be on there in Perfect Dark. So
maybe we can get Diddy Kong Racing, make it all worthwhile.
It's actually on the list. I think wasn't that on the
I
image?
didn't see Diddy Kong one.
Or am I wrong?
I think it
I
was
don't
on
think
the
it
wish
was.
list.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think it's
How
on
about
a lot
Sissy
of people's
Kong
wishes.
Racing, like last week's show?
Hambone Johnny
Right.
says Blast Corpse
Mm-hmm.
or 1080 Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Was Smash Brothers on there? Super Smash
Yes.
Brothers, the original? Was that okay? That would be
Was it?
interesting to go back and
N64, yeah.
See, my biggest doubt with that one is we've seen NES and SNES games have problems online with 2 people. Imagine what it would look like with 4.
You ever try to play?
well, I guess
Tecmo
we'll
Bowl?
find out because a lot of these games have 4 players. That's
Exactly.
what they're. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it runs for sure.
Trial by fire. Sure.
I'm sure with the extra money, they're going to upgrade everything we need, and it's going to be fine.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Which kind of goes back to the networking speeds I was talking about last night on the Switch.
Yeah,
So
that was
Chris-
a bit scary, actually.
Chris HL says he would love a GoldenEye 35, like I was talking about, and he said he would just spend his time shooting me.
Yeah,
Because
blame him.
if you guys know, he would always vote me on Among Us whenever we had community time in Among Us. So it was always Tim sus, get him off. And then Hambone says he would play only slappers.
That was fun.
GoldenEye.
That was fun. When you played like slappers and one hit kill, just running around.
Yes. Yeah, everybody has nostalgia for GoldenEye, and unfortunately, yeah, the licensing hell that it's in, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to see that ever again. Although they did try, where they put Daniel Craig in place of
Yeah, I had that. It
what's
wasn't
his
Pierce
that
name,
Brosnan?
but it wasn't the same.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan. Thank you. Yeah, they replaced him. It wasn't the same because it was just like, what the heck are you doing? It's not GoldenEye then. So, but who knows? Stranger
The
things
game
have
wasn't.
happened, right? Stranger things have happened. We got things that we didn't expect before.
And this is why it took so long for for Sakurai-san to get all of these characters into Smash. I mean, he said in the Sora Direct that this all came from a poll that was taken back when Smash 4 was out.
Yeah.
So I imagine
I voted
from
in that poll. I voted for Shantae.
Okay.
Yes.
And you got your me costume out of it, so there
I
you go.
did.
I voted
Yeah,
for
you get what
I
you
voted
get. You
for
don't get
Lloyd
upset.
from Tales of Symphonia, and I got a me costume out of that too. So
I can't remember a doggone thing I voted in that thing. I'm impressed you guys can remember.
I would have voted for Earthworm Jim if I had the chance.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
what are you gonna do?
in regards to the DLC, we talked about that part, but what about the free stuff? There's a lot of good free content that's coming in, the free stuff there. So that we didn't necessarily have to pay for, and I'm trying to find, here it is. So we got obviously Brewster's opening up his cafe. I know a lot of people were looking for that.
I'm still trying to figure out what pigeon milk is. Nobody remembers that? When
No.
You used to ask if you want some pigeon milk in your coffee.
That's so weird.
No idea what you're talking about.
At
Do you
least on
think
the
they'll bring jobs
Wii
back?
version. Yeah.
The Wii version. That's funny.
Would you like some pigeon milk in that?
What was that, Mike?
Do you think they'll bring the jobs back for the Roost?
I don't know.
I was
You would've
surprised
thought-
that they didn't mention it.
I was gonna say, if it was the case, you would have thought that would have been a talking point.
Right.
There's still time for them to talk more about it and send all kinds of tweets about it up before the November 5th. So
That's true.
you got the take the boat tour with Captain
Yay, Captain's the man.
and singing to you too on the way to wherever you're going. And you get to go to different islands with different seasons and times of day, which we were talking about earlier, right? Being able, will that affect what you see on that island and can catch? So that would be interesting. Then I think, Nick, you're excited about this, unearthing gyroids.
Yeah, I am. I don't know how excited I am to then have to replant them and water them. That I was a little like, oh, okay, that's a new mechanic, but I'm willing to try anything once.
I wonder if it'll be beneficial to, if it's a rainy day, to fire the gyroids and then rebury them right then and there, because then they get rained on immediately, and then you don't have to worry about watering them, right? So
that would be great if that's the case. Yeah, I was like, oh, there's a twist.
All right, so as somebody who this was their first Animal Crossing, like myself, what are they? I don't get it.
You should Google that.
Musical type doodads, little like fire hydrant droid looking thingies that they're really fun to collect and interact with. My kids about lost it when they saw that gyroids were coming back. I mean, I don't care if you have to water them or whatever. We're just glad to have them back.
Gyroids was like the one item that Marty wanted back.
Oh, wow.
So
Yep.
I haven't heard from
Should
him
be
on
good.
this yet, but I'm sure he's happy.
Yeah, me as well. I am glad they're back. Yeah, and they're exactly right. They just make noise, little like beeps and burps and chirps, and there was sets in previous games. You could find full sets And it was one of the few items you could actually place outside of the house. It had to be in one specific spot right outside the door. You could place 3 of them. And they could be like your welcome to the house thing. And then also you could have an entire basement full of them like I did. Because I didn't want to get rid of any of them.
Kind of like in-game My Singing Monsters.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, good to know.
All right, and then we got what I'm excited about is the shops at the open market in Harv's Island, and with Harriet as well. So I'm excited about Art being there. Red. Not Art. Red being there.
100%. 100%.
And potentially being able to get some of those things that I have not been able to get, and I'm still looking for. So because I didn't do what Nick did.
Well, nobody should. I basically binged Animal Crossing for an entire week and just it wasn't healthy, but I got there.
Time crimes.
And I'm excited to see what that old man's got to talk about. The one that they showed there too, where you just talking to this old man who said he's been around for a long time.
Are you talking about the turtle?
Tortimer?
Yeah, the
Tortimer
man, whatever.
Before the 3DS version, he was the mayor of the cities, right?
Yeah, in the OG Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited to talk to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what is
I thought that was cool.
Do we know what his purpose is in this? Or not yet? Okay.
He used to come out early on.
We brought mini games.
Maybe he's just there to be
mini games. Interesting. Okay.
Do I still have that sound bite? I don't know if I do anymore.
See, he used to only come out for holidays in the original one, and you would talk to him, and he'd give you some special item.
He'll probably talk about that, like back in my day.
That's the button I'm looking for. I might have taken that button out.
Okay. Yep, back in my day, type of thing, and then
I probably have it in.
That's interesting, Mike. You said
sure
he's the one that gave you games too, so that's cool.
So, and then it looked like there was somebody there that could help with customizing the different items, right? Is that
yes. Harriet can customize Nook Mile ticket items now, and maybe some others, but that's specifically what they showed.
Oh yeah, because they showed the lighthouse. Yeah.
I got some pretty sweet colors on there that I'm excited about too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found the audio that I was looking for, and apparently I made this almost a year ago. So I'm surprised it's this old.
Back in my day.
Yes. Back in my day.
We need to play that for Justin.
It was for Justin, I think.
Back in my day.
It was.
Well, Justin did that voice. That was for a segment that Marty introduced in, and it was kind of a pain to maintain, and we phased it out.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. All right. So we got all that, and there's probably more we're gonna learn about that. It was Reese and Cyrus's shop that did the furniture customization. So okay. But
freaking married him twice. They should give us something.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly.
Cooking and growing more vegetables and other things in the farm, essentially. Cooking and growing things and cooking those getting recipes.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part of the free stuff. Actually, is the whole being able to grow more than just pumpkins.
Yes.
And having purpose for the things that you're growing.
It was like
past Halloween.
Potatoes, carrots, tomatoes. Yep.
Yeah.
And there was a couple other things.
Wheat. Yeah.
Wheat.
I think it would be great if it made the same sound that it makes in Breath of the Wild. Like it just makes that that same like in the pot sound. Yeah.
Only if it means we could get like unmentionable food that's like blurred out too.
Yes.
Dubious
food.
Yes.
Dubious food, yeah.
The best.
Speaking of which, is there anybody disappointed, which I'm sure you guys are, but disappointed we aren't seeing more Nintendo related character type theme items? Like
we still might.
We only got Mario. We were expecting Zelda sometime this year, but we never saw that. And it doesn't look like it.
Well, they did say this was the last free update. So
major.
They Yeah,
They said free
I would-
major update.
okay, I'll give you that.
It is beginning to look like maybe it'll just be Mario stuff, but maybe they'll surprise us. And
Yeah.
I mean, because that wouldn't have to be a big update, right? Because the system is already in place. You
It's
would
just adding more items.
all they would have to do is add,
Yeah.
is add in some more. You know, I mean, that would easily be a quick little update, I would think. Not really knowing what I'm talking about, but
Yeah, this is basically a database of items, with an array of art assets, an array of descriptions, and the engine's already there. It's just adding more stuff to that database. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just dropped that stuff
Exactly.
in for Mario 35th anniversary. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
it's
know.
the only
I think
thing of
take it or
Mario's
leave it.
35th anniversary we can still access.
That's really true, which is crazy. But
Or
very
you can just
true.
go to Target and still buy a Game & Watch.
Well, yeah, all right.
Well, no, Target just actually had had it on the geez, I tell you, the Mario Anniversary Collection, whatever it was, on sale this week. They still
Oh.
have some copies available.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm still waiting for them to discount the Game & Watch, the Mario Game & Watches, because I didn't pick that one up. I have the Zelda one on pre-order, which I keep forgetting about.
That's going to be a nice
but,
reminder, surprise, right? You're gonna be like, oh, yeah, I ordered this.
That's right.
When did
But
that come
I
out?
keep waiting for them to
3D
discount
All-Stars,
the
jeez.
other one, but
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't
When
think
did
of the name
that
of the
come out?
Let's see. Nimfrindo is saying, Tim, are you referring to Zelda and Metroid? Yes, I am. The anniversaries. Kind of the anniversaries. I'm just saying in general, the characters. I know they did the Mario one because of the anniversary, but I don't necessarily think it has to be for the anniversary. I just want doggone character items.
I just want to be able to run around the island with Samus's helmet and the Master Sword in my hand.
Exactly.
Just go for
I
it.
want to cosplay on my Animal Crossing island, okay?
Yeah, like Roger wants, the Ganon, of the pig Ganon villager to show up. I don't remember which game that was available on, but there was like 3 or 4 Zelda characters that could show up on.
What? I would seriously go back just for that in an Animal Crossing game. Which one is it? Who knows?
Which one?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I think it might have been the 3DS game that did that.
I might have to go back and pick that up now.
If they did more items, I wish they would do less and focus on them. Like, just do something like the pipe for, that has actual function of it, actually has an ability. Like, I would take just 2 or 3 items that are cooler and do neater things than just like, here's a coin. I don't know. That's just
the costumes, quote unquote costumes, actually weren't bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Samus helmet, like having that helmet, that would be cool. And but what if like the sword could actually act like an axe or something like
Right.
that? Like do something like that.
Well, heck, if it's like Breath of the Wild, you could even break it.
There you
I
go.
was going to say the same thing.
Good luck replacing that.
You can only chop a tree for like 20 minutes, and then you have to wait 30 until it recharges.
There you go.
Yes. All right, guys. I think we're getting full on this main dish here. So let's take your final bites or anything like that. Or if you want seconds, if there's anything else you want to say about Animal Crossing that we might have missed, now's your chance. Otherwise, we will move along to dessert, which means that before we go to the dessert, I will do a toast to close out the evening of the stream, but we can certainly stay online and chit chat however long we want to. So if there's nothing else to be said, anybody? Good. All right, everybody get their drinks ready. I like to do I don't even have mine ready, but I'll just do my empty Coke bottle. Yeah, everybody get their empty cups. All right, so we'll end the stream and then we'll do our dessert or cocktail time here afterwards. But for now, thank you all for coming here, and everybody who's online and watching and chatting with us. Thank you for stopping by. Again, dinner table is every third Friday of every month. And you come in unless something happens. At least, even if I'm not here, the group still gets together every third Friday to talk. So do that, join in, and from here on out, here's the toast. May your gaming time be plentiful and fun, your backlog short, and you and your families blessed. Good night, peeps.
Here,
Luke.
Cheers.
cheers.
A lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.